Hi, it's Jake from Curry's PC World and welcome to this special ShopLive event. We're live today in the new gaming bunker in our store in Stevenage, and I'm going to talk to you about all things PC connected gaming. I'll be talking you through a little bit about what you need in your setup, what to look for if you're upgrading, and I've got some advice from PC Specialist, one of the UK's leading PC manufacturers. Plus, stick around and we'll be giving away a Vortex GR, the perfect tower to give your gaming a boost. Now, I think it's safe to say that connected gaming has exploded this year, and that's not really surprising. Spending time with your mates has become that little bit harder, but teaming up in Warzone or Dota 2 makes it just that bit easier to hang out. But why choose PC gaming? Well, for a start, the right computer can easily match the power, graphics and speed of some of the best consoles. There's also tons of games to choose from massive AAA blockbusters to indie gems. It's easy to customize your tech and get the games to get things just the way you like them. Plus, a gaming PC can do so much more than game. You're getting an awesome entertainment system as well as a great gaming rig. So on to the good stuff. What you need to take your gaming PC to the next level. Behind me is all of the standard stuff that you'd expect from a PC. A tower, a monitor, a mouse, keyboard, chair, and headset. But the difference here is that most of this stuff is designed especially for gamers to make it easier and more comfortable to play, but most importantly, to get the edge over my opponents when I'm playing online. Straight off the bat, there's two basic things that you can do to see a huge improvement in your gaming performance. Upgrade your monitor and switch up your mouse. The right monitor will make a big difference in the way that games look and feel, so look out for ones with a high refresh rate, anything at or above 144 Hz. When your refresh rate is high, your games will look smoother, more realistic, and just generally better. But a high refresh rate is particularly important when you're playing any kind of online multiplayer game, since the milliseconds between an enemy moving in and showing up on screen can be the difference between an epic headshot and an epic fail. And it goes without saying that upping your monitor's resolution is also always a good shout. Everything looks crisper, clearer, and more detailed. So if you're into your cinematic games like Red Dead Redemption 2 or any of the MMORPGs with immersive worlds, try and aim for at least a 1440p monitor. Now on to the mouse. If you haven't got the right mouse, you're missing out on one of the best parts about PC gaming, getting pinpoint accuracy and speed. When you have a gaming mouse with a high DPI of say 4000, even the tiny movements can be registered, so you can respond an awful lot faster to what's going on in game. They'll also usually have extra buttons that you can customize. The result, you're faster and you're a heck of a lot more deadly. So remember, in terms of your overall gaming ability, those are the two accessories you want to focus on. But everything here can give you a boost. If you find yourself mashing buttons a lot, a mechanical keyboard can help. They're more durable, key presses are easier, and you can program keys to automate combos. The extra speed can give you an edge even against the most seasoned of players. Then there's the chair, generally just to help you stay comfortable, but some of them even come with cool features like speakers straight in the headset. And obviously a good headset is a plus. Gaming headsets are often designed to be more ergonomical so you won't hurt your ears or your neck. You're able to hear and speak really clearly, very important for those team games. All of this leaves us though with one final big consideration, and that's the PC itself. All of that kit doesn't amount to much if your computer can't even play your favorite games. The real power is in the tower. And so to help me with kind of explain why this is so important, I've invited Rob Boyd from PC Specialist to have a chat with me. So Rob, thanks very much for joining me.
Hi Jake, thanks for having us on.
Cool. So I guess the first question, the kind of big question, the overall question is, what should I be looking for if I'm looking to make that jump into the PC gaming world?
Yeah, so the three main components with a gaming PC are going to be your CPU, which is your processor, your GPU, which is your graphics card, and then your RAM. The most important thing really to check initially is the recommended specs of the games that you're trying to play. And you want to really make sure that you match that up with the PC spec that you're looking at. In more general terms, basically the CPU and the GPU are going to be the most important parts. So you're going to want to make sure these are really strong in order for you to be able to play games with smooth frame rates and no sort of stuttering.
Okay, cool. So I guess we'll start with the CPU. What sort of performance should a gamer be looking for?
Yeah, so with a CPU by today's standards, anything above sort of 6 cores is going to be all right. The CPU cores are important, but then there's also the CPU frequency. So generally, anything above sort of 3.5 gigahertz is going to be ideal, but the cores are definitely going to be the most important thing. Obviously, in the PC that we're looking at today, the Tornado R7S, that is a Ryzen 5800X CPU, which is an 8-core, 16-thread beast. It's basically what I would say is like the ideal spec to go for. That's going to give you a system that's pretty much future-proof for a good few years. And it's also going to allow for future game releases that will eventually make use of those higher core counts.
Okay, cool. So that's the CPU, and then the GPU, kind of the heart of the gaming PC. Talk to me a little bit about what I'm looking for in one of those.
Yeah, so as mentioned before, with the graphics cards, you're firstly going to want to check against the recommended specs for the kind of games you're playing. And it's really going to come down to the kind of experience that you want. For fast-paced games, a lot of the time, or fast-paced esports-based games, a lot of the times you can get away with a lower spec graphics card because often they are optimized to run at a high FPS anyway. If you're looking to get into like story-based RPG games, maybe on like a big 4K screen or an ultra-wide monitor, you are going to want to look for one of the more top-end graphics cards. Now, that's not to say you can't use either for both. It more depends on sort of the monitor you're using and the experience you're after. Other things to consider are sort of the software and hardware that come with different graphics cards. So, for example, NVIDIA has some software which is quite handy if you're looking to stream. So it's worth doing a bit of research into both NVIDIA and AMD, as both have good options for this. And you just want to find the best one for your use case, really.
Okay, cool. So know your games, know your use case, and build it around that. So I guess one of the common conundrums, I suppose probably more for people who are kind of trying to make that jump from console into the PC gaming world. You hear obviously an awful lot on streams about people building their own PCs. You guys obviously build an awful lot of PCs. Talk to me about why I might, what might influence the decision between building my own and buying one straight out of the box.
Yeah, so obviously a gaming PC is only as good as the components you put inside it. And one of the things that we really prioritize at PC Specialist is doing that research into what's the most efficient, what's the best performing, and what's the most reliable, so that the systems that we send out are going to last customers a long time and provide them with a really good experience. Obviously, the system we looked at today features a AMD Ryzen 5800X CPU and an RTX 3070 graphics card from NVIDIA. Those two components are pretty well balanced in the sense that they're not going to cause any bottlenecks for one another. So the CPU is more than capable of basically working alongside that graphics card to create a smooth experience. Whereas sometimes if you don't have these aligned, you can get bottlenecking, which can lead to stuttering and all sorts of issues. If you know your stuff and you're willing to put the time and effort into building a PC, then by all means you can do that. But with PC Specialist, we effectively have done all of that stuff for you beforehand. And along the way as well, if any issues ever came up or if you were looking to upgrade and you wanted some advice, we would always be on hand on the phone to help you with that.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks very much. I'm going to ask you to stick around because we're just going to hand over to you guys. So we've had a few questions in from some of the folks that are watching. So I'm just going to grab this tablet here and I'm going to throw them at you, if that's all right. Okie doke. So the first question has come through from Ryan. If I wanted to game and stream on the PC at the same time, what's the most important thing to be looking out for?
So a lot of it does depend on the kind of game you're streaming, because some games are more CPU intensive, some games are more GPU intensive. To kind of cover all bases, you're going to want something with a high core and a high thread count. So similar to the system that we're looking at today, 8 cores and 16 threads is probably going to be ideal for most games. It's going to make sure that you can stream and basically not have that stream impact the game negatively to cause you like lagging or any frame stutters. So that would be the best option. And obviously there's graphics cards as well that do have built-in encoders for streaming. So NVIDIA have an NVENC encoder, which can basically record your gameplay and pretty much have no impact on performance at all. So that's another great option to consider.
Okay, great. Sounds good to me. Next question is from Matty Boy Loxton. Quite a basic one. What is the main advantage of buying a gaming PC?
So the main advantage, there's a lot of advantages. The
Yeah.
main thing I would say is the flexibility. Obviously, with a gaming PC, you can pretty much build this to the exact requirement that you've got for your games. So, you can do anything from plugging in your PC to a TV and connecting up a controller. You can set up a sim racing rig. You can buy an ultra wide monitor that gives you a really immersive experience for like story-driven games. You've got all that flexibility in the initial purchase. And then when it comes to further down the line, obviously you've got flexibility in upgrading it. So, you can choose when you want to upgrade, how you want to upgrade, um, all of that. So it's really just a flexible, all-round entertainment system that you can do a lot with more than just gaming.
Okay, great. And then a couple of questions from Zach and then also somebody else anonymous. Why do consoles tend to cost less than one of the high-end PCs? What's the difference there?
I would say the difference is probably where they're not so customized. Obviously, consoles are completely different in that they're a lot of the same thing. Whereas with PCs, you can pretty much choose what you want to do with it, how you want to take it, and what you want to focus on. It's a difficult question to ask to answer, but yeah, I would say with PCs, obviously, you get all that additional functionality. You can do photo editing, video editing, you can watch all your movies, etc. And you just have more of a different experience to consoles.
Okay, great, thanks. So yeah, sounds like kind of customizability of it all is really the focus. That's unfortunately all that we've got time for today. But before we do go, as I said at the beginning, we do have a giveaway going on for this, and that's for a Vortex GR-PC. So for your chance to win, check out our PC giveaway post on Instagram and answer this question. What was the most played game on Steam in 2020? Again, that is what was the most played game on Steam in 2020. Get the answer right and you'll be entered into a draw to win that Vortex GR. So thanks very much for joining me. Have a great day, and don't forget, if you have any more questions about this or any other tech that you're looking to buy, our ShopLive colleagues are ready and waiting 24/7 on currys.co.uk.